as I came out into this mid-river water, I can definitely see a difference in this rising river, in the turbidity, the level of muddiness of this water out here. It's more muddy here where you have higher velocity. It has stirred up a lot of the sediment, and it's just browner compared to on the bank in that grass. It's a little bit clearer. And for sure, the concept of counter shading is important when you have low visibility conditions. The bait combination, I got the gold blade. I just like gold on this river, but the concept of counter shading, where you have a darker line on top, which is their back, and then the lighter line on the bottom. If you have contrasting dark over light, and you really crank that up, it helps. I think what's this one called? Gold Rush. It's the light kind of gold, but it's black on the top. Same thing with the jackhammer itself. You have a lot of the darker, like the green pumpkin skirt material on top, and it's got the gold and the white on the belly. So let's look at counter shading and a couple other baits. This is the one that I'm throwing. It's the jackhammer that has the white and gold flake belly, but it has the green pumpkin on the top, and as I mentioned, the diesel minnow with the black over gold. This crayfish, which I painted tan on the belly, because that's color that crayfish are. They're fairly light in the belly, but you look at the back, it transitions from that green, the olive green, to like a darker brown. Even on this spinner bait that I made, the twin spin, I got a video coming out showing how I make these little mini twin spins. It's all white on the belly. As we transition to the top, this is more of a subtle counter shade, and it's got that bait scale pattern with some darker shades of silver and kind of bluish color. And I've done the counter shading on the paint job on the head, where I just sprinkled some of the darker powder paint over the white. So counter shading is going to be more, and this would be a good example for cleaner water. It's a more subtle counter shading, whereas this in muddy water is a more drastic counter shading example. Dark overlight, and nature does that. You know, nature gives counter shading so that, you know, if viewed from above, they see dark, which matches with the bottom. If viewed from the bottom, it sees light, the white belly, which matches with the sky. So counter shading your bait and really cranking up how drastic that is. If you have white on bottom and black on top, roughly, that's a fairly visible lure. It's a single package that has, you know, two contrasting dark and light bands, and that makes it, you know, makes it easier for them to find. Certainly the thump of the jackhammer, that blade makes it easy to find. That, you know, that speaks to their lateral line, but the color helps counter shading. So, you know, having a discussion with you about counter shading, where, you know, I'm designing my own baits and I get to add the right color of skirt to the top as opposed to the bottom, and even sometimes I go with 3 colors. Yeah, that may not matter for most of my viewers, but it definitely matters when it comes to when my viewers choose their trailers. You know, when it's clean water, you want to have trailers that sort of match in a more gradual, you know, the top and the bottom aren't going to be that much different. But in the muddier water, yeah, you do want, like I have now, that stark contrast, and that's why I chose, you know, that the Gold Rush diesel minnow. You know, putting that black in there over the white, they're just going to see it that much better in this muddier water. If it was still clear, I don't know. I probably wouldn't be throwing a jackhammer, but I'd be throwing something that had more gradual counter shading combination. Maybe that green pumpkin over gold is more gradual than black and white.